And a very warm welcome back to a very warm Shenzhen in China for the Intel Extreme Masters. Our new season is well underway. We're on day 4 of 5, or at least most people are. Me and Kalaris here are on day 1 because we got here a bit late.
Yeah, we did.
A little bit late. A little bit late to the party.
It's okay though, we got to see Hong Kong for about half an hour.
A rain-drenched Hong Kong for about half an hour. Interesting match, great result for the foreigners, great result for the home people, and particularly for Jim as well.
Yeah, I mean, as much as I am a San fan,
You are a San fan.
Yeah, I'm very, very happy that Jim was able to take that, because in that 4th game, if he didn't win after that happening, my mind would have been blown and I would have been sad. So yeah. I'm glad he did round it out in the end. Yeah,
shame for San, though, as we've said before.
Yeah.
He seems to get to these quarterfinals, semi-finals, knockout stages, and then somehow doesn't look quite as strong as he did in an earlier part of the competition. Why?
I don't know, really.
Has he got a mental block? I mean, he shouldn't have, should he? Because he won Aces ROG early on in the year, which was the first Premier tournament that he won. So you'd think he'd go on from there and win many more.
He shouldn't do, you're right. But I think right now, PvP for him, it's becoming this... I mean, we're only judging this on like the 3 past series he's had, because he's still really good at the matchup, but it's getting to that point now where if he keeps losing, it's becoming an Achilles heel.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it's the Zerg where he shines, and even his versus Terran is pretty darn good as well. But just round things out in PvP, and then he'll be all dead set again.
Indeed. Talking to Terrans, it's a Terran up next, of course, one of 2 in the round of 8. We've already seen Tasia go through to the semi-finals. Is he going to be joined by his fellow Korean Terran? Of course, Innovation, former big champion of WCS last year, was a real monster in the first season, in particular at the start of Heart of the Swarm, but hasn't really shown us a terrific amount of what we know he's capable of, but has had these flashes of brilliance, moments, if you like, that just sort of stand out. Is this another one of those, or can he go all the way?
I think Tasia. I think Innovation, he's back on the rise. I really do. Watching him through the Korean qualifier was really quite impressive. He actually played Solar during that qualifier in a very, very heated TVZ, which was not only really good to watch from both sides, but it also showed how insanely strong Innovation can be if you allow him that mid-game macro that he loves and is able to just plow away at. So I'm expecting good things of him here.
Yeah, he's definitely changed from the sort of Hellbat abuser of the early days of HOTS, and has developed a little bit further in terms of his game, because he was the first one to admit that first patch really did hurt him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that I can't really decide whether it's a lovely coincidence that he's back on the rise now that Hellbats are back in the metagame a little bit.
I kind of gave it to you on a plate, and you took the bait. So yeah, that was definitely. Let's talk about Solar, because a man with no major championships doesn't really play outside of Korea very often, and I think we've seen him play Frank Masters, I think, recently.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And a ton of online stuff, an absolute monster amount of online stuff. Often wins online cups on a regular basis. Fantastic in Pro League, no question about the fact that he is a great player, but we just haven't seen enough of him. A bit like Hero last year from CJ Entis, in that we hadn't seen much of him, and you kind of underestimate them. Well, underestimate him at your peril.
Oh yeah, for Solar, definitely. The one thing that really stands out to me is he's a really hard worker. As you mentioned, the online cups and stuff like that. He's one of the Kesper Koreans that really started like honing down and saying, hey, Europe has a lot of weekly cups. Yeah. I'm playing from Korea. I can still actually win a few of these, which is some extra money in his back pocket. And again, watching him in the qualifiers, he was really, really strong, who was able to come through that. So it's nice to see Solar actually doing stuff.
Quite a personality as well.
Yeah, a really, really fun guy. Every time I ended up casting previously, before the last qualifier, he was always like so nervous when we would actually cast his games. He's like, oh, I'm on the stream. And, but yeah, really, really nice guy.
Yeah, he was actually in the player area. Well, I should explain. We're right next to the player area backstage, and he was in the player area earlier on. And he looked over as we were having some lunch, and he just looked up at me like this, and he went really excitedly, and I was just like, wow, okay, that's weird. Solar knows who I am. That's crazy stuff. And I just got a wave back, and he was like, yay. So he really, he just loves being around everyone.
He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he has a fantastic personality. And Susie was telling me that he's really hyped for this. He really wants to do really well at this tournament. He wants to show people outside of Korea, outside of the relatively small community, as it were, of hardcore fans that know him already. He wants people to know who he is on the bigger stage.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I think the whole hard working thing comes back into it as well, because from what I know, he's pretty good with English as well.
Yes, he is.
So he's like really pushing towards a market in the international scene, which is dead important, because we look at all these Koreans. A lot of people look at Koreans from the Western world, and it's just like, it's just another faceless Korean coming and winning a tournament. But it's those Koreans that get out there and really shine with their English skills, and they push their personality a little bit to the forefront that, you know, gain fans. And that's what Solar's here to do. And if he's able to beat Innovation, that's going to help him a whole lot.
It absolutely is. Right, take a break from the couch and head over towards the commentary booth, where we have two superstars in their own right. That's right. For a very special TVZ, we have a Terran versus a Zerg in the commentary box as well. It's Moonglade and QXC.
Hey guys, welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters Shenzhen. I'm QXE. Joining me today is
Moonglade.
Oh, we're not going to do Andy.
How you doing, Terran friend?
Hey,
we're
right.
friends, but we're you know, we'll be doing both analysis sides, Terran and Zerg, as players. And you'll be doing a bit of the play-by-play on the side.
Oh wow, you're just going to tell them everything.
I'm going to tell you guys everything. This is exactly what's happening. This is the cast, and this is what we got planned. This is what we planned out before the cast.
Great. Well, I think we're still waiting on vetoes and things like that, so we've got a little bit of time here.
Well, let's talk about the match itself.
Yeah, how much do you know about Solar's Zerg versus Terran?
I know that it's one of his weaker matchups.
Yep.
He's got to be kind of careful. I mean, he didn't want to play a Terran. He wanted to play a Protoss for sure. We saw him play so well against Protoss.
Oh, yeah, he just dominated Liquid Hero.
Yeah, he destroyed Hero's soul in that group. It actually happened. Like, you could see it break, and it was a brutal series. Both of them actually, both 2-0s. Clearly his best matchup. Small problem on stage. Repeating what I hear.
You're not supposed to repeat it. You just keep talking about
I'm sorry.
stuff.
Anyway, back to it. He actually said himself that he didn't want to play against a Terran.
Yeah.
And he gets Innovation, of all people.
Yeah, Innovation with Tasia being... So Tasia 3-0'd Zest, and it's hard to argue against that. But besides that, having a bit of trouble here and there, Innovation seems to be basically on top of everything at the moment.
Actually, yeah, that's very true. And I just remembered, Innovation beat Solar 2-1 in the qualifiers for this tournament.
Yeah?
Yeah, in the last Asia qualifier, this is what happened. So, you know, Innovation coming in with a bit of confidence here. He only won 2-1 though, so Solar does have a chance. Clearly, he can take games from Innovation.
Yeah, well, Solar, even if Solar lost 2-0 to Innovation, I think I would still say, yeah, he has a great chance of beating him. Solar being one of the top Korean players, top players in the world right now.
Yep, that's right. He's definitely a Kesper Zerg, and he has done well for his team. Samsung Galaxy.
Yeah.
They did do pretty well. Not the best season for them, but yeah, they're very, very strong.
So, best of 5 here. We've only got 2 maps that we're going to be eliminated, that will be eliminated there. Have the vetoes already been done?
They have been. We saw Deadwing and Nimbus eliminated.
Okay, so Innovation vetoes Deadwing. And as a Terran perspective, that Deadwing is one of these maps that has a very unique layout in that
to say the least.
Until you break the rocks down, you can basically defend all 3 bases from a single choke point.
Yeah.
And
that's true.
Because it's a 4-player map and it is pretty big, you kind of run the risk of dealing with a very macro-heavy style from Zerg. They can play a little bit greedier, especially since this map is so new. It can be a little bit risky to face that.
But at the same time, like, what I've experienced personally on this map is that little corridor, if it is horizontal spawns, can be fatal to the Zerg because, you know what? A parade put through there is not going to be stopped by anything. Yeah. Mines are too effective in that zone. And, you know, it is a risk trying to get that horizontal spots for sure. And it is like a small chance. But at the same time, I'm surprised that we see the Terran doing it instead of the Zerg.
Yeah, that's definitely... I think that's definitely a pretty good point, but the chance of you actually getting the horizontal spawn, like you said, 1 in 3, basically.
Yeah.
And those odds are decent enough that you can kind of just, gamble with that.
Yeah. That makes sense. And I mean, we do have Catalina Overgrowth, Merry-Go-Round, King Sejong, and Foxtrot, the final map. Foxtrot, yeah, I can see why that's the final map. It's not a great map for Zerg, I think, in general. It is a big map, but it can get kind of cut in half. So, you know, I kind of understand that being the 5th map. Hopefully we get there, though. I really want to see these guys go to the distance.
I'm actually a little surprised that Solar vetoed Nimbus instead of Foxtrot. And what do you think the reason for that might be?
It's hard to say. Maybe he just really doesn't want the Terran to get like such a comfortable natural or something. Because obviously Nimbus is the map with the natural behind your main. So you're going to get it no matter what. It's actually just, it's going to happen. So Terran can be very greedy on that map. They can go CC first. Pretty safe. I mean, block off the small choke.
Yeah, you can actually block that choke off on Nimbus with just a supply depot and your barracks.
Yeah.
Which means that CC first is pretty much immune to 6-pool, 10-pool, anything except the most extreme 10-pool baneling type of play you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, it's such a safe map, so I can definitely understand why he got rid of it. But, you know, maybe he doesn't want to play that kind of macro game against Innovation as well. Because obviously Innovation, very, very strong in macro, has that Kesper background of like a mechanical Terran from Brood War. Yeah, I can see why he did it, but he's going to have to make some work on the other maps for sure.
I think Foxtrot may be the most interesting map in the new map pool. And when I say interesting, I'm not saying that...
You're not saying good, right?
I'm not saying good, and I'm not saying standard. It's just so different because it's a 4-player map with asymmetrical spawning locations. So the top left and bottom right spawning locations are slightly different than the top right and bottom left in that those two have a second jump-in point for the Reaper.
Right.
And also, of course, for Colossus, but it's mostly a Reaper jumping point.
Right.
Let's be real. And then, because of the layout of the map itself, any set of spawns creates a different game because it's like the whole map itself is asymmetrical.
Yeah, so it is a very dynamic map, to say the very least about it. I mean, we have seen some ZVZs on this map and whatnot that just simply go on for so long because the map is cut in half from these 3 ramps in the middle.
Right.
And, you know, in a matchup that's based on concaves and effective sort of fighting positions, you're never gonna get up that ramp without being at a disadvantage. Hopefully we don't. Oh, wait, obviously. Well, hopefully we don't see that kind of game. I don't know. I haven't seen that much ZVT on this map, considering it is pretty new. It's been out, what, just over a week now?
Yeah, I mean, all the new maps, just a couple of weeks now, depending on... Well, on the ladder, which is probably when most people started playing them.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's going to really pick it up unless they were... I guess if they were coming to this tournament, they might want to start on it a bit early, but it's hard to say when these guys started.
Right, especially with, you know, Innovation's got Acer Team Story Cup, Solar's been playing in Pro League, and in general, those events are going to take a little bit more precedence. They probably definitely practice those maps just coming up to this event, but you got to wonder, like, they haven't been playing Foxtrot Labs for 3 weeks now in hardcore time. But anyway, guys, we're in the game. First map is Catalina. You want to start it?
All right. Well, in the bottom right, we have the player from Acer, one of these Kesper Terrans that moved over to an international team, doing very well in this round of 8. It is Innovation.
I like those dynamic shots.
Yeah.
That's nice. And in the left-hand side of Catalina, the Blue Zerg playing for Samsung Khan, known as Solar.
Oh, I love the spinning action.
Yeah.
Every shot, even the camera shot is spinning. How do they do that? Is the guy actually turning the camera?
How do they do that?
Is the guy turning the camera as it's suited? Oh, they do. Okay, thank you, production. Very interesting.
All right. Well, on both players opening up with relatively standard play, we'll see. Innovation going for Command Center first. You can see he's not getting that first barracks and queuing up additional SCVs. Meanwhile, on Solar's side, it looks like he's just going to go for a normal 15 hatchery.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he wasn't. I mean, you can see the occasional 15 pool if they're really afraid of like some really early aggression, whether it be 2 racks proxy or a proxy Reaper.
Right.
Both work, but this map, you know, 3-player map, does have some space. 15 hatch, perfectly viable.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised that Innovation chose this map to open CC first on.
You know what? It's kind of just like it's one of those mind games they play. Let's play greedy, you know, let's open up greedy. Something really unexpected on such a map, a 3-player map that, you know, it isn't too big. There can be rushes on this map, but at the same time, Solar definitely not expecting this kind of play to begin with.
Yeah, and the thing that I really like about this map when I don't go CC first is there's a big cliff So there's 2 main entry points into a player's base, and that big cliff allows you to really exploit the Reapers. When you open CC first, you're just not able to take advantage of that. And in a best of 5, CC first is absolutely going to be a build you can use at least once.
Yeah, I mean, as you're saying, and as well, like, best of 5s, it gives you plenty of room for a lot of mind games that you wouldn't normally be able to do in a best of 3. You have that extra couple of games. You can play some really weird style. You can start with a really weird style that's going to be like, well, this guy is playing crazy. He went CC first on such a great Reaper map. Yep. Maybe he's going to play this way every game. Maybe I should be all-inning him. And, you know, it's a great way to start things off.
And we do see him making Solar blindly making 4 Zerglings. And this is extremely standard. The reasoning here, the Overlord did not scout Innovation first. Reaper being the most common opening in this matchup on every single map. He makes those 6 Zerglings actually just to be safe. Doesn't want to end up... If you don't make those Zerglings, you can end up... Basically, you have 3 or 4 drones in buildings. They're not mining. They're just taking up minerals. They're making it very hard for you to macro. And against CC first, the Zerglings become an aggressive weapon. So what he's going to do is just send them to Innovation's base and do whatever damage he can. Yeah,
exactly right. You need some Zerglings. If you don't have the scout and Reapers are coming, if you don't have those Zerglings, you are taking drone damage. You got to pull it back, and you are most likely going to take some drone kills.
Oh, and he's actually going to respect the bunker here. He's not going to try and run by a lot of players. Maybe not with 6, but with 8 or 10 Zerglings, they would actually just run by the bunker and go into the main. If you see, if we can see Innovation's ramp here, he actually is not walled off, which means that there was an opportunity here for Solar. He chose to play the safer, more normal route, and actually 2 Lings are going to get by. No, Lings do not get by, and this is pretty big for Solar right now. He has no idea of the transition here. Hellions is the most common one, but he doesn't know, is this going to be Starport? Is this going to be Banshees? Is this going to be Hellbats? Is this going to be 3rd CC?
Right.
And that makes a big difference in terms of how greedy Solar can play and how much he can optimize his transition.
Yeah, well, he's really going to have to use this Overlord that's north of the base to effectively scout what it's going to be. Is it going to be Starport? Is it going to be straight into bio with the 2nd CC? Obviously, that Overlord will see the CC at the very least, so he'll know where he's at. It's not going to be some 2-base timing aggression with Hellbats or anything like that, though it can still be Hellbat transition at some point. But yeah, he's really got to find out. It's one of the major scouts of Zerg. If they do not scout this, they run the risk of losing the game very early or very late, depending on how greedy the Terran is.
Right. Against the 3rd CC, if you're just playing like the safe, generic, safe, generic, safe style, you run the risk of getting out macroed, where you're building units for no reason. There's no timing coming up. For example, Solar's making that Roach Warren, and maybe he'll make some number of roaches, but the exact number of roaches that he needs to make is more determined by what Innovation is doing. With that 3rd CC, these 4 or 5 roaches, that's fine. And actually, Solar's making some number of Zerglings now, along with some roaches. We actually may see Solar commit to a serious timing attack here. Going up to 8 roaches, 9 roaches now. Innovation, meanwhile, going double engineering base. So Innovation is going, he's expecting the macro game from the Zerg player. He's got no read on this incoming Roach play. He hasn't seen the Roach Warren at the top of the ramp. Solar's been doing a really good job of denying that vision. He does see a Roach now. Baneling Nest goes down for Solar, so we're going to see a huge Roach Bane timing coming up here.
Absolutely. It's a great timing, too. We're going to have to wait and see if we're going to see more bunkers go down for Innovation. No, he's taking 2 more refineries, so he thinks these are defensive Roaches. He thinks they're just simply zoning out the Hellions. And now the Hellions are in such a position that he will not see the rest of the Roaches, the rest of the Zerglings. He will go to the 3rd, but he will see no drones.
Yeah, but now he knows. He should absolutely know what this is now, or at least get an idea. Maybe it's not Roach Bane, but it should be Roach Ling at the very least. No drones at the 3rd, and a ton of Speedlings are going to get in. Hellions getting surrounded. Oh, just 3 Hellions left. The Queen is coming in, and the Hellions are actually going to make it out. Meanwhile, outside Innovation's base, the Roaches are starting to rally, and this is where the action is going to take place. Lings are streaming across the map. Banelings will be morphing soon.
But at the same time, like, he lost so many Lings. He lost every Ling to these Hellions, so his Banelings are so late. They're so much later than they would be, and there's so fewer. So it's going to still happen. We do see bunkers. They might actually get up in time. We'll have to wait and see how the detonations are going to go and where these roaches end up.
Yeah, and Innovation now going up to 5 bunkers here. Every single bunker matters so much. The Banelings are coming up the ramp. The SCVs are surrounding. The Lings are getting in the way of the Banelings. The Banelings explode, but the bunker is not going down. The Banelings are not synced up correctly. Banelings take out that one bunker. Another bunker goes down in just a moment here. A third bunker almost takes damage, but it's not quite going to die, and it looks like Innovation is going to push this back.
Wow, and he is so far ahead now from this. He did no economic damage at all. Look how many SCVs are in that natural still.
Yep. And
their bunkers are still up.
He just salvaged all of his bunkers. Solar is not done with this timing. Solar is all-inning again. All-inning whatever timing, it doesn't matter. He is continuing the attack. More Banelings are morphing, and Innovation is left with just 1 bunker. I bet he regrets that decision right now.
So much regret in his heart right now, and this last bunker will go down. QXC, we could see some serious trouble for Innovation now.
I don't know how Innovation can salvage this one. All the units in his natural are dying. The SCVs with such low health, and Solar is going to push into the main here, sitting on top of the production. More Banelings. The Tech Lab is going to die. That doesn't matter too much now. And more Banelings are morphing. Solar is on top of every single production building right now. The SCVs are getting pulled. Innovation cannot hold this.
What a mistake. What an overconfident move from Innovation. Canceling the bunkers, getting rid of them. He thought it was over. He didn't make sure of it. GG.
And Solar fist pumps the air.
What a great timing. Completely zoned out the Hellions for long enough for those roaches to get to the natural. From there, you know, the first one lost, but he stayed strong. He said, hey, I'm all in. You know, I'm so far behind if this doesn't work. I'm practically lost the game if I hold. And Innovation, not remaking the SimCity, not blocking again.
Yep.
Salvaging bunkers.
Yeah,
at such a crucial time. He didn't have to. He saved every SCV, man.
Yeah, he really took almost no damage at all. If it had gone, if Solar had not followed that up with an additional attack,
he would have won.
Innovation was so far ahead. Yeah. His upgrades had been started, 3rd command center, no economic damage, no drones at the Zerg's 3rd, and
it was either Solar stops attacking and loses the game, keeps attacking, and then it's up to Innovation. If he's going to defend, is he going to invest in defending, or is he going to salvage his bunkers and just lose the game?
Innovation really needed to get some more information about what was going on there. Perhaps it's just a very unusual thing for the first attack to do so poorly, and then for the Zerg to actually follow up with an additional attack.
Well, those Hellions, they took away so much of the Zerglings and everything. It was insane. You know, the Zergling surround on the Hellions was not good. He lost every Zergling that was dealing with the Hellions. Then he had to remake more and get them down to the natural to make Banelings. So, you know, it was late because of that, I think, more than anything else. But it gave Innovation the time to get Stim.
Yeah, and that's what allowed him to hold the first part of the attack so well.
Yeah.
If those Lings had been able to be at his base, there's no way he would have had 5 bunkers.
No way.
At most, maybe 2, maybe 3. And we saw 3 bunkers go down immediately when that attack started.
Absolutely.
But let's do this game.
We got
another game.
Let's intro. You want to do the Terran, mate?
I'll do the Terran player. Yeah, why did we not do that before?
Seriously,
He's
dude.
kind of my buddy. Yeah. All right, guys. We're here on game number 2 of this best of 5. Innovation. Man, I did it wrong. Innovation. There we go.
All right, and in the bottom left, we have the Blue Zerg. Up 1 game. Looking good for game 2, I hope. He is Solar.
Yeah, you did a lot. Oh, man. Where was my brain that time? That was like... It was like 2 weeks ago at WCS. I was doing I think it was like first introduction of the day. And I said Alicia like 3 times before I actually introduced him. The Protoss player, Alicia, known as Alicia. He is Alicia.
Wow.
Well, anyway.
You could have done that here, too. You could have just pretended like it never happened.
Just keep going. Innovation now going for a Reaper build. And it looks like Solar's going to be going for Hatch first. Solar actually checking around his natural for a potential proxy there.
Yeah.
A little bit of an unusual place to proxy, but...
Yeah, very unusual, actually. But, you know, fair enough.
Yeah,
being careful,
why not?
You got to be careful.
And it only takes just a moment. Like, the cost of scouting those little edges around your natural is basically nothing.
Yeah, it really is nothing. You lose maybe like 5-10 minerals from it. It's worth every cent to not lose the game instantly.
Yep.
Yeah, and we do see...
Now we see a spawning pool.
Spawning pool. We see Reaper. It's kind of the standard kind of business here, but we don't see an early gas. We see a 16 pool, so he's playing a little bit safer here.
And we'll actually see he may be going... Oh, no. There's the gas. So this is going to end up with roughly a 620 speed timing.
Yeah.
And what that is it's kind of like the macro version of early speed.
It's a little bit greedier. Plus, it can get your Zerglings out a little bit faster than the gas burst, which can be important against proxy racks.
And yeah, proxy racks, proxy reap, and also can just make you feel a little bit more comfortable against the normal Reaper timing.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to make as many drones into extractors or whatever. The Lings can kind of go out and meet the Reaper. Meanwhile, Innovation going for that second Reaper and then the fast command center, but there's really not too much deviation right now. The big thing that's going to tell us and kind of shift the tempo of this game is how much damage can this Reaper get done.
Yeah, exactly. And because of this build, we probably won't see much damage be done. The Zerglings speed will be a bit slower. These Zerglings are out to meet the Reaper as he enters the main base, so he'll be chased away. So it's kind of a very kind of standard start here. It'll transition most likely into Hellions from here, kind of keep that map control, keep the contain, stop any sort of creep spread happening too soon.
Right.
And we'll have to wait and see exactly where the play is going to go from there. Is it going to be an extra command center? Is it going to be Hellbat timing? Is it going to be Banshees?
Yeah, we won't know that for just a little bit longer here. Solar using his Overlord to scout. And the two Reapers have done enough in the main. Now they go to the natural and try and put some pressure on that Queen. This basically forces the Zerglings to come down to the natural, or the Queen, the second Queen, to come down to the natural. And it's just a way to put some extra pressure on. What Innovation's going to try and do now is the next time he pokes in, he's going to be looking for that creep tumor.
Yeah, you're going to be looking for the creep tumor, or, you know, maybe even more damage on this Queen. It's very rare to see two Reapers take down a Queen.
Oh, creep tumor.
Completely denied.
I think you owe me dinner.
Hey, I was only explaining the second option here. I wasn't saying no to your idea.
Okay.
I wasn't saying no.
Fair.
Yeah. But he does put down a second tumor, foregoing the lava injection of his natural there.
This is something that we've seen Zerg players do more and more recently, where a lot of Zerg players have just realized that creep is like one of the most important parts of this matchup. When you get the entire map creeped, it's very hard to take damage. You get a lot of control over things.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, Solar moved out with those 6 Zerglings. Very important that he kept those Zerglings alive, because now he can get some pressure on the Terran player.
He has to fall. What happens is the Zerglings will run to the natural. The Reaper Hellion have to turn around. They have to, or that the natural is gone. The SCVs are going to die.
Well, with 6 Zerglings.
6 Zerglings, I mean, it's still going to kill the SCVs, but if there's anything else there, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And
I mean, at the same time, look, Hellion Reaper turning around.
Yep.
This gives a lot of breathing room to the Zerg, a lot of creep spread potential.
Yeah, and I think Innovation here is he's not super aware of how many Zerglings are on the map. As the spectators, we see, oh, it's just 6. Those 2 Hellions are sufficient. But Innovation doesn't know that it's just 6. Those 6 could have been the forward team of a group of, let's say, 20 Zerglings that are ready to do that big backstab. But Innovation playing very safely, checks out where those Zerglings are and roasts them.
Completely roasts them. And from here, we still see no sort of no armory, no starport. So it's going to be straight into the bio, straight into Hellion bio, maybe. Oh, there's it's going to just be maybe bio mine.
Yep.
I mean, Innovation is so good at bio mine. Back, especially when the mines did huge damage, his parade pushes were unrivaled, I think.
Yep. And we do see Innovation adding those 2 additional barracks now, and then going the double engineering bay after. Sometimes players will get the double engineering bay before the 2 additional barracks, and this is kind of an indication that maybe he feels a little bit pressured, but now he's doing some damage here.
He's doing some real damage. Those Queens got caught off creep, and all those Zerglings trickled in a line, lining up for the roasting. So
upgrades right about even now. Solar is starting his lair, so he'll be heading probably into Mutalisk tech here. We don't see a lot of deviations that would indicate, let's say, Roach play or big Speedling, Baneling timings.
With this many Hellions on the map, it's so hard-pressed to do any sort of Zergling timing.
Yep.
It's just too much. Unless you get a good surround, then you can just instantly remax on Lings and just go for it.
Or just make drone. Well, you can do a lot of things.
You can do whatever you want if you get rid
basically.
of them.
And Innovation actually went up to 8 Hellions. Most players will stop at 6, and that's giving him a little bit more pressure on the map at the expense of slightly later Marines and upgrades and a general transition. But he's been putting it to really good use. He's denying a lot of creep tumors. I don't know how many creep tumors he's killed so far, but probably about 6 or 7.
It's been so many.
I mean, Solar just cannot get creep out to the Watchtower. And this is so important because basically the way this matchup works is if both players are on the same number of bases and you have Mutiling Bling against Biomine, the Terran player is favored. So it's always the Zerg's objective to get that 4th base.
Right. It's like essential. You have to get it or you will die.
Yep.
Because the cost efficiency of the Terran push is so strong.
Right.
The area of effect from the mines does so much damage that you need that economy boost. You need to get that 8 gas for Mulisks and Banelings, and you need to get the creep spread out, which also the 4th base helps with.
Yeah, and the issue that Solar's seeing right now, that's putting him, even though this position looks very even, the supplies are even, the upgrades are even, Innovation has a very distinct advantage because of map control. If we look at how far the creep is actually out on the map, Solar cannot put a 4th base down that's going to actually be defended by creep, and that's going to allow Innovation to either take fights off of creep easily because he's forcing Solar to engage, or Solar's just not going to be able to take a 4th. Right. Meanwhile, we see Innovation coming in, sniping a couple of Overlords here. This is not looking good for Solar right now.
It's not looking good, especially if Innovation knows where that 4th base is. He's going to fight anyway.
Oh, big fight coming in. The Lings are getting in. A big surround almost happens, but they're all picked up. Medevacs are flying away, and will the Hellions get away? The Speedlings charging in. Innovation unloading the Marines on the high ground, and it looks like he's going to hold this position at the gold.
So, nice little trade there. Still a lot of Hellions, enough Hellions to kind of cause damage, and being turned into Hellbats now. But it doesn't look like an Innovation isn't going to be too aggressive here. He might want to just continue to stunt the growth of these creep tumors.
Yep.
Going in here, I'm sure we'll see a scan go down so long as the Lings aren't near him.
And a lot of Banelings here. Are they going to be able to get away? The Banelings are rolling in. The Marines, a lot of Marines get picked off, but he does manage to save those Hellbats, drops them back down on the cliff, and it looks like Innovation is going to keep controlling that gold base. The thing that's going on right now is Solar has been forced to make so many units that his transition into actually taking a 4th base is extremely delayed. He's got gases at his 4th base, but they have only just now started to mine.
Right.
He's only just now got those drones actually mining minerals at that 4th base, and his creep spread is barely enough to really even cover it.
Yeah, but at the same time, he has identified that he really needs to start droning this 4th base, and he's got it, it's got it half saturated at this point, plus the 2 gases. He's in a good position so long as he can hold this next attack to really go into a decent-sized mutable, as well as the massive Ling Bling, and can maybe eventually take the map. But Innovation taking so much control of this creep spread, he has been added since the start. And at the same time, we got Mutas in the main pushing out SCVs.
Yeah, and it's really not a very large number of Mutalisks here. We see just 5 or 6 Mutas. The reason his Mutalisk count is so low at this point is because Innovation had forced him to make a huge amount of Banelings to hold that 4th base, to hold that creep spread.
Right.
Meanwhile, at the 4th, it looks like some Banelings try to roll in, but not too much damage done there.
No. And yeah, this creep spread is probably the biggest story of this game so far. As you were saying, and as important as it is, Solar cannot get it to the middle of the map, which is really surprising by this point. Innovation has just been in constant control. Since he got those 8 Hellions out, he's been constantly killing the tumors, constantly scanning to kill the tumors.
Yep.
And Solar is in a position where he wanted to be, but not with the creep.
There's a real macro problem going on for Innovation in this game. He's been supply blocked numerous times at 153, at 177, now at 185. Lost some supply depots at his 3rd. That made that even worse. And the Mutas are going to come in. A couple of SCVs go down. He's going to repair that turret. Mutalisks get deflected. Meanwhile, Innovation is moving on the right side of the map. Can he make a good engagement happen in this alleyway?
This is probably the best place for him to fight, if any. And I mean, he has so many mines here to do some work. He's got 6 mines as it is.
Yep.
Plus these Hellbats. He's going to need a great sandwich to really crush the Terran. But
nope, he's actually just going to back up. And what this did is it forced Solar to make a huge number of Banelings in response. He was really worried about that attack. And now Solar's Mutalisk count is not really growing at the rate that he wants it to. You can see he's going up to 50 Banelings. Yeah. 50 Banelings, and he's only got 17 Mutalisks. Those 17 Mutas aren't going to do too much. Innovation now rolling around the map, denying some more creep spread while dropping at the same time. And is there going to be a big fight here? Mutalisks come in. Some of the Marines get cleaned up, and Innovation looks like he's going to push onto creep and force this issue.
Oh, wow. A really terrible engagement for Solar. Throwing so many Zerglings away for nothing keeps the Banelings alive, but you do need Zerglings to help tank for for the Banelings so they get into position.
And at Innovation's third, a lot of Banelings rolling in. A ton of supply depots are going to go down here. Innovation actually forced to pull his SCVs, ignoring the threat at his third. Meanwhile, he's pushing on a creep. Mutalisk in Innovation's main. There is so much action in this game right now. Widowmine's going to burrow, taking out the creep. Lings are killing all the SCVs at Innovation's third. He has to make a decisive battle go in his favor right now. He's lost so much economy, and Solar is rolling in with all of his Banelings right now. Can Innovation take this fight?
I don't think he can. The Mutas are here to clean up the Medivacs. They're trying to get away here, but there's so many Ling Bling on the ground as well. Where are you going to drop to be safe? There's simply nowhere to drop.
There's nowhere to go. Innovation, where are you going? You are going to your death. The Banelings rolling in, the Marines getting cleaned up, and all the Medivacs are taking so much damage.
And from here, I mean, there's still Zerglings at the third base. He still cannot secure that, and we're going to see the counterattack from Solar go straight into the natural at this point. Every Medivac going down.
Yep. Solar now rallying everything he has to Innovation's base. GG. Solar takes game number 2 and leads the series 2-0.
Making it look very convincing.
Yeah.
Really, really solid ZVT. He's obviously had a few days or a couple of days to really think about what he's going to do against Innovation, how Innovation plays. And, you know, he weathered the storm early. He didn't take any bad fights. He got that fourth base down. He saturated it while taking pressure, constantly trying to get those creep tumors out, which he couldn't. But he did so many good counterattacks with Mutas and Bling Bling on the third base.
Yeah, Solar knew when he could defend, where he needed to defend, and then when he could attack. And that's what really changed the pace of that game. When he was at that disadvantage in the creep, he wasn't really taking those fights off of creep. There was a little bit of back and forth, mostly just to shove Innovation back to get that creep spread out. And then once he had that safe amount of creep where it's like, okay, Innovation, if you attack my fourth, you're going on at least 2 screens worth of creep. He did so much good multitasking.
Yeah, it was really impressive play. Solar, you know, despite his lack of confidence in the matchup, he is playing up and above his level, I think. He's playing just like his EVP. He's playing a very calculated, very smart game, beautiful macro, and he knows exactly what he has to do in these games.
Yep. The combination of that run by at his third, along with the Mutalisk at the main, was timed out so well because he was still able to defend that attack at home because of how much creep spread he had.
Yeah. And I mean, that's one thing a lot of Zerg players don't look at. It's like, okay, I've got this giant ball of Marine, Hellbat, Marauder mines in front of me. It's either I have to deal with that or I go around that, do some damage, try and do as much damage as I can, and then deal with it with the Ling Bailing follow-up when he finally goes onto my creep because he's forced to. He has to make a move at that point.
Yep. Innovation, like that final, the big major engagement for Innovation was basically a forced blunder from Solar. I call it a blunder because it just wasn't a good attack.
It wasn't, but
he had to make it work because of how much economic damage he took.
He was forced into like the checkmate position, I guess.
Basically, it was like
push there.
Solar was like, all right, Innovation, here are your 2 options. You're either going to lose because I have twice as many workers as you, or you're going to lose because you're going to attack me on creep. Pick your poison.
Pick your poison. Yep. And he picked creep, and he died horribly. He died horribly.
Horribly.
That was actually probably worse than what else could have happened. He probably should have just turned around, tried to defend his base, and died a slow death.
Maybe.
He would have lived for a little while longer.
I don't know.
But he chose a pretty brutal one.
He chose the same path I choose.
Yeah?
Quick
and painless?
Yeah, quick and painless. Just let it end.
Well, now we're down to game 3, and he is down 2 games.
We're going into merry-go-round. In the bottom middle corner, the Red Terran, down 0-2, playing for Team Acer. He is Innovation.
Oh, whisper.
Yeah, I want to try something different.
All right.
And
in the top right, we have the player up 2 games on merry-go-round. He is Samsung Galaxy Khan's Solar.
Oh, I like that. Solar.
That's him.
Look at the crowd.
Wow, it's a lot of fans. We have a big crowd out there. You know,
I don't know how I feel about
Innovation Gym.
What does that say?
I don't know. You're the one. You know a bit of Chinese.
No, I don't know that much.
Shrey? Was it Shrey?
Oh my God. We don't have to talk about that.
No, let's not.
I don't know what the waitress thought I was saying, but I was really trying to ask for water. She did not seem to agree with me.
No, she did not indeed.
Well, anyway, Innovation opening up with CC first.
Very interesting.
And that seems to be his go-to build on these non-2-player maps. Meanwhile, Solar going to go back to the hatch first. And I think maybe part of the reason Innovation's going back to the CC first is that game definitely went more in his favor.
It should have been his. Yeah. It definitely should have. But what do you think of CC first on this map of all maps? This map, I feel like it's really a great Hellion Reaper map because the third is so exposed. It's so out there, denying as much creep as you can for as long as you can will put you really far ahead.
Yeah, it's definitely true. But at the same time, CC first.
CC first. It's happening anyway.
Making those SCVs, getting that economic advantage. And it seems like, well, no, I think Innovation's quite good at both styles. We saw him do a ton of damage.
I actually was really impressed with his aggression last game. Like, he kept the creep tumors down for as long as possible.
Kept the creep down, kept the Zergling count down. He did a really good job of managing his control of basically the whole early game. It really only kind of started... It very quickly swung out of his control.
I think he just didn't make his move quick enough. When he had that army down there, it set up shop. But then he's got distracted by all the other attacks, the multitasking of Solar. He was left there, standing there for a very long time to the point where he had enough Ling Bling, creep, as well as taking so much economic damage at home that he couldn't do anything at that point.
Well, now the SCV is going to scout here, and it's going to see the gas timing. This is, again, going to be like that 610 to 620 gas timing. And Solar actually only making 2 Zerglings here, and that may be in response to the SCV scout. It may be in response to him actually having scouted this. Yeah, that's actually what it's in response to, because the Overlord scouted it.
Yeah, he scouted.
So he's going to make 2 Zerglings. He's going to do a little bit of pressure, probably try and run them by, like we saw on Catalina. And we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, looks like he's splitting it up. So maybe he'll keep one outside the base, one at the tower. You know, just keep map control. He already knows the build, and he's seen the gas, so he knows it's not going to be some sort of 4 racks SCV all in that
something crazy.
Something crazy.
That really does not seem like something Innovation would do, though.
No, but you know what? It could be at this tournament.
Yeah, you never know. You really don't. Especially like Innovation had a full day where he knew his opponent. And maybe he's got this build up his sleeve. You know, you don't want to lose to something like that.
To a wings build, man.
Something that you could easily have prevented with just a little bit more proactive scouting.
Exactly right.
And meanwhile, we do see this Overlord flying, the creep spreading.
We see the factory lifting at the Innovation base.
He is landing. The barracks is
Hellions
landing.
Hellions, will it be, let's have a look at the add-on. What will it be? Will it be a tech lab? Yes.
Yeah. So he's going to...
No starport.
Yeah, super standard. It's just going to be 3cc, going to get stim as soon as possible. We'll have to wait and see if he's going to go additional barracks or E-bays first, and that kind of will dictate the pace of the next several minutes of the game, whether Innovation's going to be the aggressor or more of just map control and passive play. And actually, Roach Warren going down, but he's only on 1 gas, so this...
It feels a lot less like it'll be an all-in, more of a defensive one.
Yeah.
And I like that a lot, considering what we saw last game.
Yeah, you
can amount of Hellions.
And also baiting Innovation.
Yeah.
He sees the Roaches at that same timing, but then he's got to be really careful. He's like, well, I need more information here. I don't know if this is this the build you did to me on Catalina?
It's like, oh crap, is it another all-in?
Right.
On another 3-player map? It's like, this might be Solo's build on these maps. He could be played. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what Solo's got planned and how he's going to play it.
It's definitely not going to be an all-in. He doesn't have nearly enough gas to make that work right now.
He's getting 6 Roaches there. We'll see if there's any more come along.
Well, 5 drones. 6 Roaches, 5 drones. I don't know what kind of all-in that would be.
It'd be like a spine crawler rush.
Yeah, it's a spine crawler rush.
Hey, man.
Calling it now. Solar.
It's going to happen.
He's going to walk his queens across the map.
He's going to make a hatchery cancel, put his creep tumor down,
and then
set up shop outside the base.
He's going to use those 5 drones. He's going to make some spine crawlers.
Yeah, at least 5.
So Innovation now, double Evo chambers from Solar. He's going to be going into kind of a macro style, but he's actually going to get layer before upgrades. Meanwhile, Innovation putting down that scan, and that gives him a little bit more information. Maybe he feels a bit more comfortable. He did see that the second gas was building, and he didn't see a big flood of units coming out of Solar's base. So I think at this point he kind of knows, like, this is defensive Roaches. He goes up to 8 Hellions, and he did go for that double E-base. So Innovation is putting himself in a very strong spot for the action that's coming up. But our observer Funka, he really wants us to know that Solar's got +1 missile coming.
Ooh. Thank you, Funker. And this could be very interesting. And we could see some Mass Roach play, Mass Roach timing even.
Well, double gases at the third would indicate that this is probably going to be a 2-2 timing.
2-2 timing. Could even be a Hydra added.
A 1-1 Roach Hydra?
1-1 Roach Hydra.
I don't think the Hydraless Den is early enough to sync up with that 1-1 upgrade. Well, let's see.
We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it does take time to really get Hydras online as well because they're upgrades and whatnot. So
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is even once the Hydraless Den finishes, you still got range or speed that you're waiting for.
You can just go Mass Roach and then transition into Hydra once damage has been done.
But why would you go Mass Roach off of a full saturated 3 bases with 3 gases?
Well, you will need the gas eventually, I guess.
Yeah, but if you wanted to max on Roaches, you'd get way more Roaches if you didn't take those gases at your third and you just made Roaches.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. We'll have to wait and see exactly. I mean, he's getting the Hydra range already, so it looks like he will make the switch to Hydras pretty early on.
Yep.
But I think, you know, like, if Innovation Scouts is quick enough, he kind of knows exactly what's going on. He has time to add tanks, get those maybe 5th and 6th gases at his
14
natural.
Hydras. You may actually be right. This might be a 1-1 timing here.
It might be.
16 Hydralists coming out now, and no third base in sight for Solar. Meanwhile, Innovation, if he doesn't get some information soon, he's going to be in a lot of trouble right now. This is such a hard timing. No bunkers, no siege tanks. He's going to, if he's not macroing absolutely perfectly, he's got to pull SCVs in order to defend this, but the Roaches are now moving out. Solar doing a great job of denying information.
Yeah, and here come the Bio. Bio stims forward, but Solar gets out of there. I think he's got to hide these Hydras for as long as he can because
I think this is it.
This is just going to happen.
He's got 1-1 upgrades. And he's actually reinforcing with Roaches. Roaches being that much faster across the map. They build a little bit faster than Hydralis. I think that's right. I'm just going to say it is anyway. But they'll move across the map way faster than Hydras.
Yeah.
So he can get this. Is he going to try max? Or is he just going to... I think he's just going to go and he's going to rally Roaches behind
He's probably just waiting for more Roaches, yeah. And this is going to be a pretty hard fight for him anyway. I mean, look at that Bio Army. And there's a lot of Hellbats, too, to tank.
Yeah, but then not a lot of Marauders here. And Solar, he looks like he's taken control of the space in between the natural and third now. So he's got some room to work with here. Innovation's going out to meet him. A couple of Roaches going into his third. And now the fight is commencing. The Hellbats spread out. The Marines doing the stim, moving in, doing the dance of death. A lot of Roaches go down here. Innovation, it doesn't look like who has enough units here. More units being rallied in. The SCVs are running away. I don't know where the SCVs are going. The SCVs are a sacrifice. They're distracting Solar, trying to save some time. I would not want to be an SCV in Innovation's army. And it looks like Solar has just crushed Innovation. He is up 80 supply now. Innovation has no SCVs at his third, and that command center is going to fall.
He was not ready for this at all. He completely caught off guard. He got completely out of position. What is happening here?
Yeah.
And now he's pushing, he's knocking on the Natural's front door, and all these SCVs are going to go down at the very least.
Yes, SCVs have to be pulled at this point. He's just got to maintain control of the top of his ramp, use that concave, force the Zerg units into that slightly smaller choke in order to take advantage of the lowered number of units. But Solar is completely committed to this attack. He is maxed out on Roach Hydra. He's not started 2-2, and he's going to move in and finish this game off.
Wow, 80 supply up. Can he make it work? I mean, Innovation's simply going to run out of units at this point. The Hydras are doing too much DPS for this time of the game. We see SCV's pulled again.
Innovation's holding?
He's holding.
Oh, he may be overcommitting a little bit here, but Solar is running out of units. Innovation is actually starting to clean this up. With the Medivacs keeping his units alive, he can actually bleed out whatever little bit of units Solar has left, but Innovation is stuck on 2 bases. The saving grace for Innovation, his one chance to get back into this, is those 2-2 upgrades.
Fighting up against that ramp was never going to be cost efficient for Solar, but he was up 80 supply when he did it.
Yeah, man.
So technically he should have won.
I feel maybe there was some supply that was kind of trailing in, so even though we saw he was maxed, he really didn't have all of it there. And Innovation actually pushing on a creep here. This is a very risky move, but with all those Medivacs...
I don't think he has a choice, man. He doesn't have a choice at this point. He's got to make it work.
That's true. This is, again, he's got 2 bad options. He's picking one. The mine does a bit of damage, but look at how many units Solar has.
Wow.
Innovation is getting pushed back. Solar now chasing him down, going to force this engagement over and over and over, and actually going to going to go home a little bit.
He's going to go home. I mean, staying on creep at this point.
Yep.
As long as he's continually checking if there's a third base. No, there's not. It's simply an all-in parade push from Innovation at this point. He has gone tunnel vision. He doesn't want to try and make this a macro game. He's got the 2-2 upgrades, which is very important.
Yep.
But he's going to try and attack down a ramp into a fourth base.
Yep.
Does he have enough for that? I don't think so.
Solar doing a really good job of just playing the position out as it should be played optimally. He knows he's ahead on economy. He doesn't have to force this fight at Innovation's base. He can force Innovation to fight where he wants it to happen, maintaining control at the bottom of this ramp, and Innovation is getting pushed back. Once again, more Roaches and Hydralisk streaming into the fight. Both players jockeying for position here, trying to get control of that fourth base.
That's right, and he's really manipulating, continually kiting to the ramp. So this is not cost efficient at all for Solar. He has to be so careful. He's got to get back. He's got to start doing damage down here. These Hydras are almost exposed.
Oh, I think Innovation overcommitted just a little bit too much there. The lack of splash damage for Solar is really hurting him right now. You can see so many medevacs keeping those bio units alive, and Innovation is playing for his life here. If he loses this, he's out.
3-0 to Solar. Who would have thought that? No one. No one, not even Solar, thought he was going to beat Innovation. And here we go.
Yeah, a little bit more. He's just trying to pick off one unit at a time.
But you can't against Hydra. Hydra the same range. They're going to always take kills.
Well, he's trying to use the medevacs to negate some of that damage.
He's trying.
You know, yeah, he's trying. He's trying.
It's not
I'm
working.
not saying he's doing it, but he's trying. That's his only effort here. And meanwhile, Solar is just holding his fourth base. He's not playing. He's not going with his army and trying to make this attack happen at Innovation. He doesn't need to close this game out because the economies will close the game out for him. Meanwhile, Innovation going for a big drop inside Solar's main, but he spotted it with his Overlord. Units are streaming in. If Innovation doesn't pay, oh no, he's just going to move, go to the third here. But Solar has so many units. More medevacs are falling, and Solar is now streaming in units here. A lot of Hydralisk coming in. Innovation is not going to be able to take this fight. He needs to get out of there. Innovation's not looking. This is it. That's all he got.
Wow.
Solar takes it 3-0 and moves on.
Who would have ever thought this would happen?
Oh, look at that smile. He's
look
happy.
at this guy.
Yeah, Samsung.
Samsung.
He's like, check it out. This
that
is why
money.
I won.
That money.
This headset is why I won. Thank you, Samsung.
Yeah, something like that. he had the sounds in his head.
Oh, sorry.
But, very well done. Yep. Very well played. I'm sure everyone is very proud of him. I'm sure he didn't even think he was going to go this way.
Yeah.
Get this far, sorry.
Yeah, he looks very happy with himself. Just, yeah. I don't know. Well played by Solar. Very,
very well played.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like one word that summarizes that whole series.
Destruction.
Destruction. Obliteration. Annihilation.
Complete annihilation.
Yeah.
I mean, Innovation, he played so well in the group stage. He played so well. He was looking in form. He has been looking in form for a time now. In previous tournaments, he's been playing so well. I'm so surprised that he drops like this. 3-0 to a Zerg to Solar.
Yeah, and it really all kind of started with the game on Catalina with that Roach Baneling. But we're gonna shoot it over to Paul here, who's gonna be doing a little bit of post-game analysis with Kalaris on the couch.
Yes, we do have Kalaris on the couch. I've always wanted to say that as well. No psychoanalysis going on right now, though. We're not going to analyse Kalaris. Great win for Solar. Not much more you can say about it other than that. Just dominant against Innovation. Yeah. Innovation, a bit like Zest earlier on, seemed a little bit out of sorts. And I know I'm not kidding you. That's not the first time we've said that about him in a knockout stage of an international tournament. What is... It seems it's almost like San reaching these round of 8s, reaching round of 4s. Innovation's done a very similar thing over the last 12 months since he last won a big tournament. And the same thing keeps happening to him. Why?
I'm not so sure. Again, Innovation has never been at the level he was at, back when we saw him at the very beginning of Heart of the Swarm and doing so well there. But, I mean, Solar played a great series. Yeah. He played a great series. He played 3 different games, completely, very, very different in essence. And some of those games that we saw from him, the first 2 especially, are 2 that Innovation was able to defeat in the qualification process.
And can do it and has done it in the past.
Yes, but Solar just looked very, very good today. And then, especially in that 3rd game, bringing out the Roach Hydra play, to round out the series. Really, really diverse and strong play by Solar.
Yeah, it's good stuff indeed. Innovation, where does he go from here? Back to drawing board, I guess. But he's one of those guys we're expecting to see him at BlizzCon. He's not there just yet. We're expecting to see him do well in GSL, and he's not there yet either. So tough times for him right now. Where does he go?
Whew. I don't know. He's just got to kind of buckle down and keep making Hellbats, I guess, or try and do something with that. It's a little bit of a shame for him to go out at this stage. Obviously, he always wants more. Obviously, he always wants those higher positions. But again, for me, it's all about this. It's all about Solar doing really, really well, and not many people expected him to win that series. Never mind go 3-0.
Yeah,
that in itself is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah, we've had a fantastic run from the two of them that have come over that we haven't seen before. Zest being the first one. Obviously, he got knocked out 3-0 by Tasia earlier on, and at the bottom half of the bracket, you can see there Solar winning 3-0 to reverse that. With a 3-0 win over Innovation. It means the semi-finals look like this. Tasia versus Jaedong and Jim versus Solar. I'm not sure that anyone would have picked those four out necessarily, all of those four, in the right order, with all four of them in the semi-finals.
Yeah, it's quite the outcome. I was expecting Sam to take Jim. Jim completely proved me wrong.
But you're a Sam fanboy, so we knew that.
Yeah, we knew that. And then I expected Innovation to win this one.
Yeah.
Again, considering how they both matched up in the qualification process of this, I thought Innovation was going to take it, but clearly not. Solar did very, very well.
All right, okay. We are going to take a very quick break, and I do mean a very quick break. And when we come back, we will have the Samsung Galaxy player on the couch. And by the power of television, we have beamed Solar into the couch area here at the Intel Extreme Masters in Shenzhen.
I see what you did there.
As well as Susie. How you doing, Susie, right?
I'm good.
You're good. Solar, welcome to the couch. This is only reserved for winners.
Yes, I'm so happy.
And you are now a winner.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to sit on the couch.
Okay.
Okay, that's good. He's playing the game with us right now. Fantastic win. Are you as shocked as I am?
Yeah.
Are you as surprised as I am? 3-0.
My score?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't think I can win him 3-0. I think maybe 3-2 or 3-1.
Okay.
But every games are made by only my thing.
Okay.
So I can win easily.
Yeah. It's innovation. He's supposed to be good, right?
Yes. I lost him at Korean qualifier.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was very worried, but I win.
Okay, well, you're in good company right now because your ears, Jaedong also wore those ears, and he won as well. So I think the ears are good luck charm.
Oh, yeah, I think so. Good luck.
You know, in a previous interview, you said, I don't care who I play against, anyone but innovation. Anyone but innovation. And then you got it.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead.
He's very hard to win because I think he's the best turn in Korea now.
Really?
Yes. So I was really worried about this match.
Hold on. He's the only Terran in Korea left. You only have one Korean Terran left. He's the only guy, right? You don't have any more left. Where are the Terrans?
I think Terran is very good race, but in tournaments, Terrans always lose. I don't think why.
I think you should play Terran.
Yeah.
And you still win.
Maybe you should switch to Terran.
Yeah. Play too hard.
You heard it here first. Too hard indeed. So when you went into this, you said you didn't want to play innovation.
Yeah.
So how did you focus? How did you?
Also, I saw all of VOD from innovation yesterday in hotel, but I didn't take deep sleep. I was very nervous last night, so I slept maybe 5 hours.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm very tired now.
Yeah, you know, I texted him last night. I said, oh, by the way, here's the groups. You got innovation. This guy was like, why? Why? How did this happen? But you know what? You did it. 3-0. Yeah. I mean, that...
Did he play the way you thought he would play?
What?
Did he play the same way?
네가 예상한 거대로 play him in.
Yes, I know he plays only 3 command build, so my game was very easily to play.
Okay, but you changed your builds each map as well. You have very different builds.
Yes. I didn't use these builds in leather, so I think he can't know about this build.
Okay.
Like merry-go-rounds.
Yeah.
Hydra Rush.
Yeah.
Yes, that build was Little Imba build.
Ah, Little Imba build. You heard it here first. That'll be played on the ladder now everywhere.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be playing the solar build now. So.
Yeah. Well, okay. So your next opponent now is Jim. All right, Chinese player, and he's a Protoss.
I saw his game today versus Sun. He's really good.
Yeah?
Really good player.
But
but he's Protoss. My best matchup is Protoss, so I can beat him.
He is. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this, but this guy is by far best ZVP in the world. Absolutely, in the world. Do you think so?
Maybe top 3.
Top 3?
Top 3. Okay, that's normally when I ask that question to a Korean player who actually is, he's very good. They go, no. But you're saying, yeah, top 3.
Yeah, top 3.
Okay, cool. That's good. So does top 3 in the world. He says so himself. It's all very good. Well, congratulations.
Yes.
And well done on your win. And we'll see you tomorrow in the semi-final. Like, if you can win against Jim, do you think the Chinese fans will love you? Or do you think they'll hate you?
Oh, I'm worried about Chinese fans. They really love Jim.
Yeah, they do. But maybe if you win, then when you play the final, China cheers for you.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know. I don't know how it works.
If
maybe
you win,
they hand me if I win.
if you win, will you do a ceremony for us?
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If win this IEM.
If you win
If
IEM.
you win the IEM.
Yeah.
Okay, you do a special dance.
Yes. I was thinking in hotel today.
Really?
About ceremonies.
Awesome. We'll hold you to that. Fantastic. Right then, we are pretty much wrapped up here at day 4 of the Intel Extreme Masters. My thanks to all the commentary and, of course, to Susie and to Solar here on the couch as well. Don't forget, if you want to watch more StarCraft 2 action, though, there is still more to come this weekend. Not only our grand finals and semi-finals tomorrow, but don't forget, today is DreamHack Open as well. And if you want some CTF action, go and check out QuakeCon. It's a cheeky little one from me, old school style. We will see you tomorrow for day 5 of the Intel Extreme Masters. We'll see you then.